Thanks for tuning in to the second season of Talking with Tot. I'm your host, Tot Carter. Today on the show, we have my special guest, none other than the one and only 93MEEXHIE. Today's episode is sponsored by 93MEEXHIE Beats. Forget your producer. My beats are made by Meechie. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Thanks for having me.
You are welcome, nephew. So we will start. So go ahead and tell everybody who you are and where you're from.
93MEEXHIE. I'm a music producer. I'm from the east side of Birmingham, the Birmingham area. Yeah. Make beats, record, mix and master. I teach classes to make beats.
I didn't know
yeah,
that.
I got a number of things going on.
Okay, awesome. All right, cool. I got out of character. I'm gonna leave that in. All right, so what does a beat producer do? So tell the audience.
In my case, I try to build a sound around the artist that I'm working with instead of just making a beat, giving the beat to an artist. I try to build a sound with the artist, me myself.
Okay. And for people who just don't know exactly what that is, it's pretty much like you just heard the intro, which is your beat. And so, like, who's your customer?
Artists, like mostly artists, but I get a lot of podcast intros. I get a lot of different stuff. I've been trying to get into movie scores as well too.
Okay, that's
Like
good. We'll talk about that offline. All right, so how did you start? Well, tell us how you started out. So we're missing a little bit. It's like I know your story, but you got to tell it to the audience, and I guess I got to ask the right questions. So tell us how you started out, because you wasn't always a beat producer.
Right. At first, I was a rapper, and it went from rapping to basically like making beats because I wanted to make my own beats, but in a sense, like I just fell in love with creating sounds for different people, so I stopped rapping and transitioning into making the beats.
Okay, what was your rapper name?
Meet 205.
Yep, I remember you make some videos and everything. Okay.
Yep.
So what was the turning point when you decided to be more of a beat producer opposed to a rapper? So like you got to tell us that story. Like tell us about your entrepreneur, like that part of you.
It basically went from it I could say it went from me recording. I didn't really want to record as much like I used to. So it mainly went to the beats when I heard like one of my friends rap on one of my beats, and then he bought it too. So that helps too. So, and I just looked at it like, well, if I can sell a beat, then I need to make plenty more beats. So I started making like 5 a day. Then I went to 10 a day. Then I went to 15 a day. Then I went to 20 a day. Yeah, I was at like 20 a day. In 2020, I was at like 20 beats a day.
Awesome. And you started how old? And I always tell part of your story too, because I always tell people that you started as a rapper, but you've been doing this ever since you were 15. And it's not like you just, blew up overnight.
Right.
And I think they don't understand that it takes a long time to just get where you are with your, making your beats.
For one, I practice every day. So I kind of work my craft well, polish my craft. And then I used to hang out at a lot of the open mics. So it's like when I transitioned to the beats, I already knew all of the rappers. So that was gonna be my clientele. So it basically was like the clientele was already built because of me networking with the rap.
Yeah, it's hard as an entrepreneur. I mean, like you got to go out there, you have to market yourself, you have to network, you got to do it all.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so how did you get signed to Sony?
Um, my manager, Braxton Starks, he he set up a meeting in Atlanta with me and Ray Daniels. I played a few tracks and they offered me a contract with Sony Music Publishing.
Oh, okay, that's awesome. And that was in what year?
2022.
Okay, so yeah, you pretty much just got your deal. Okay, that's awesome. So how did this wasn't one of my questions, but how did it feel when you got your big break and you became signed or got a deal?
Mm, it's I don't know, like I'm a kind of humble person, so I was proud, but at the same time I never get content. So it's kind of like I still was looking at it like I got a long way to go, type type deal.
Right. Yeah, but still, what I always tell people, I say if this just me being an auntie now, I always tell people, I say if you have not bought a beat from my nephew and you in Alabama, you ain't
Right.
serious about you ain't serious about rapping. Cause I'm like, everybody know my nephew.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
tell people that. All right. So what strategies do you use to attract customers?
Mm. Sometimes I do look. Sometimes I do like a beat sale. Like sometimes I do like customer appreciation. I go half off on the beats, or buy two lease beats get one free. Like I always throw some type of deal
Okay, so
at
when you
the end of
say
the
lease
month.
beat, explain to
Hmm.
us what a lease beat is.
A lease beat is basically like um you're paying to use the beat, but you don't actually own the beat. Like it's just like a um it's a leasing agreement, like an apartment. Like you might lease an apartment for 12 months, that's a year. You can lease this beat for, let's just say, 20,000 streams, and then once you recoup the 20,000 streams, either you're gonna buy the exclusive to the beat or you're gonna lease it again. Basically the leasing agreement will run out.
No. Okay. All right. So who are some of the known artists that you have made beats for?
um Big Yavo, Lil Bam, LB Bucci, Northside Weezy, Richard So Icy, EBE Savage, Lil Mexico, Mexico Foe. Uh, there's a lot on.
I knew a
I ain't
couple,
even
but
gonna lie.
well,
TLE Cinco, yeah, TLE Cinco, D Petty, uh, yeah, it's a bunch. Lil Shot, Hard Body Shot, Johnny Bama. Yeah, I got a lot of.
yeah, that sounds
Yeah,
like a
it's a long list.
yeah,
Yeah.
which is good. I am so proud of you. I'm trying not to let the auntie come out. Okay. How how do you feel about working with artists to create a special sound or a vision for their music? So, like, how do you feel when you have a particular artist?
Like when I lock in with a particular artist and it's like we have chemistry to where they understand my beat, I understand their lyrics to where we can make it into a track the way people will want to listen to it over and over again because that's what it's about. If the song doesn't have longevity, then you ain't gonna get paid. I mean, we can't get paid off the stream, so that's my main goal. I try to make like a sound that's like a timeless effort. Like it's like you can play it 10 years from now and it's still gonna give you the same feel.
Right. I did. I do watch some of your videos and your interviews and things like that. And I was watching one with Lil Bam, and I just love
Hmm.
how he said, things about you in terms of like it's kind of like y'all understand each other in terms of like he don't always, work with you is basically what he said, and he has some more
Yeah,
people that he work with. But I like how he said it's kind of like how he want his stuff, and he know that he's kind of hard to deal with. I want to say he said, but it was
right.
like, you know, you gonna get it done, and just how y'all do. So I was just like, that's pretty cool, just to have someone that you work with a lot and y'all, vibe off of each other and make a good beat. So yeah, I
Yeah,
think that's
yeah.
so. Tell the audience what you would like for them to know about the music industry or making beats or just anything that you want them to know about this world that you're in terms of beat rapping and that whole music thing.
Um, First off, I always have your business part straight. Like, if you're an artist, or a producer, you should have BMI or ASCAP to register for your royalties. Don't leave no money on the table. Um, anything dealing with contracts, make sure you have a lawyer look over it. And as far as artists, pay for promotion, like pay for marketing and promotion. Don't just think like throwing a track out there is gonna blow the song up. Like it has to have like marketing, a rollout plan. And if you're making beats, stand on your 50%. Don't sign over your percentage. Like, stand on your 50% every time with an artist when you're dealing with a label. But that's about it.
Okay.
You know?
All right.
I ain't have nobody to make my beats, so I had to kind of learn for myself. And that's why I started learning to like make beats myself. But then like I played a beat for one of my homeboys and he bought it. So that was like my first beat sale. So that's when I switched more into the entrepreneurship. And plus, like I had just lost my job or whatever. I think I was working at Buffalo Rock at the time, and I had lost my job or whatever. So making beats started being my hustle for real, for real. It just started out being my hustle until I found me another job.
Okay. That's awesome. Yeah, I remember that you
Uh,
were showing me like what you been got paid, just like in your cash app. And I'm like,
yeah,
because I remember we had a conversation. I was like, okay, I ain't really say forget rapping, but I was like, you get paid right here. You know that I was like, look, I was like, focus on that.
I ain't never made no money rapping, so that's why it was kind of like easier to transition to the beats because I was like, okay, well, I can see myself gaining some revenue from this. So,
Absolutely. Yes. All
yeah.
right. So what are some of the known artists that you've worked with before? Or you made beats for?
Uh, Lil Bam, I do a lot of Lil Bam. Make the Law, I did Make the Law for Lil Bam. I did, let me see, I did Saw with Tavis Moore for Big Yavo. I did Four Way for Big Yavo. I did a lot of basically a lot of Bam. I got a few Yavos. I did Next Level with Bear Auto for TLE Cinco. I did a lot of Northside Weeds. And I did Three Headed Goat. Um, I done worked with EB Savage, Lil Mexico, Richard So Icy, Nina Chanel, Breezy Monroe. Um, It's been a lot of artists. I can't even
That's
lie.
awesome. I
Yeah.
don't know if I told you, but I work with Cinco mom with his mom.
For real?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's so sweet. So hey, I ain't gonna call her name out, but
Okay. Okay.
because hey, people crazy out here.
Yeah.
What strategies do you do to get your customers? Like,
My strategy. at first because I was still learning how to make beats. I didn't have my prices up high. I was like doing like $50, $60 beats.
Mhm.
And they used to sell because everybody was always looking for beats because I knew all of the rappers in the city by going to the open mics and performing at the open mics with certain people and just doing the events, popping up, networking, rubbing elbows with the right people. So I build up my clientele basically by just charging less for the beats and pushing out a mass amount of beats. It just starts off with a thought, and then we kind of take it and turn it into a record. The artist might come in and they might have one word, and they might just throw that one word off on to me and just basically say like, kind of like this the vibe I want to go. So it's kind of like I just like to see the finished product when it's done, cause like it's a different feeling when you playing the record back and you started out with just a thought and then the thought turned into the beat, then the artist wrote to the song or freestyle to the song, and make the song, yeah.
Right. Um, that's pretty cool. Some of the other things that you are doing with your entrepreneurship, like what are you in terms of your beat making? How are you venturing out
Uh,
into things?
I offer mixing services. I offer loop kits, drum kits, as well as I teach a class on how to make beats, like basic fundamentals on how to make beats.
Mhm.
And also I do I'm getting into movie scores and as well as soundtrack music.
Okay, that's pretty awesome. That's awesome. All right, so enough about your business. So let's see, let's get on a personal note. So, do you have like what's on your bucket list?
What's on my bucket list? I want to go skydiving.
You do? I'm gonna let you have that.
I'm a daredevil. I like to do crazy stuff, so yeah, I want to go skydiving, even if I
Okay.
gotta go by myself.
Right. Okay, so what's one thing that if you could do over that you would do differently?
I would have made beats sooner than than I did.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I feel like more years of practice and me networking that ain't no telling where I'd be right now. But small thing to a giant. I'm gonna work with what I got, but I say
Yeah,
if I could do it over.
but still, I mean, you think about this, not everybody gets sound from publishing. So, take those, you have to take those wins and, like people make beats
Yeah,
and don't get discovered. So,
yeah, true, true.
yeah. All right. So, okay, well, also one of the things that I did not ask you is that helping others make you feel what?
Helping others, it helped me feel like I did my due diligence, like I paid it forward. Like, I like to remain humble. So yeah, I don't mind helping others.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna wrap up. And so tell me one of your most fun childhood memories.
Most fun childhood memory. Uh, I say when I think when my uncle got married, like we drove to Cleveland, Ohio, and I like the whole road trip vibe. Ain't nobody else like it, but I liked it.
Yeah,
My
I
mama
like
drove yeah, my mama drove the whole way. Like she didn't split it with nobody. She drove the whole way.
you like round. Well, I thank you so much for this interview.
Oh yeah, I thank you for having me, Auntie.
Absolutely. So, go ahead and tell everybody how they can follow you on social media and support your business and also buy beats.
If you go to my Instagram, the link is in the bio to get to all my social handles. YouTube 93MEEXHIE Beats. Instagram, I'm 93MEEXHIE with an X, not a C. Twitter, the same thing, 93MEEXHIE, with an X, not a C. And Facebook, 93MEEXHIE Beats.
All right. And you can follow me on Facebook and TikTok as Tot Carter, on Instagram as Ivy Tot 10 and Talking with Tot. And until next time, have a good night.
Yes, sir.